All right, let's get into it.
I'm glad
I just had to knock that out the way.
nosedive.
Nah, we ain't even gonna get into that much politics. I just had to knock that out the way because I seen some ridiculous stuff
today's
today.
been the last week, since we recorded, bro. It's
The audacity of this man trying to take credit for freaking freeing ASAP.
But also the joint that I responded to today, where I was like,
yeah,
wait,
we're
what?
talking about what's worse than Baltimore. Come on, give me some suggestions.
Yes.
Afghanistan. Yeah, that's
what
a clown, man. Oh my gosh. But we all know he's a clown anyway. We ain't even gonna keep getting into that. You guys already know.
If you don't know already,
your boy an emotional wreck right now. I ain't even gonna lie, dog. Listen, it's confirmed we gotta move out of our place. The 17th. Got that confirmation today.
That's in 2 weeks, homie.
I know. I don't know where I'm legit really debating just moving to Vegas. Bro, I was really thinking of moving to Atlanta, but then I started doing some research.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, Vegas kind of popping, and it's close to California. I can't right now I can move to California, but it just wouldn't be sustainable. But Vegas is close enough where it's I could do Vegas.
Right.
And I could be in California every weekend if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So right now I'm I just got to figure out what one of my roommates is doing. Because I was low-key talking about moving somewhere else with him. But I'm 100% ready to just be screw it. Moving somewhere. But yeah, that's been stressful. And then Drake had to just go ruin everybody's summer with
yeah, ruin.
This man is such a genius, and cause I'm a huge Drake fan. I'm not even gonna beat around the bush about it. He's probably in my top 3 favorite artists of all time, not just as far as genre and stuff like that. Probably my top 3 is honestly Michael Jackson, probably Lil Wayne, and then Drake. It's a weird list, but dude, I mean, he dropped a compilation. What's the word? Compilation album of old songs that he's released. Songs that date back to 2011. I think even further beyond that to some as recent as 2016. But different songs that he's dropped here and there. And almost all the songs except one I've heard. But it was when the news came out about the album yesterday and you see the track list, and then I listened to the album all the way through yesterday and just how the songs are arranged and all.
Right.
If you never heard of these songs before, if you just never heard of Drake, nothing like that, you just came listening into it, you'd have thought it was a complete project. And it just flows so smoothly. And it was throwback storyteller Drake, sad as hell Drake. I was sitting there 1 a.m. listening to this album. I was working on this blog. It's coming out soon. We're going to talk more about that later. But I was working on writing this little blog stuff. And the whole time I was just sitting there I would notice myself phasing out. And I'm like, damn, Drake, bro, I forgot how much this song hit.
Laying on your bed, on your back, staring at the ceiling with your hands folded up against your chest tight.
I was looking at the laptop screen. Next thing you know, I'm just looking at the wall man,
damn.
Why she had to do him like that?
Who hurt you? Who hurt you?
We all got trust issues, Drake. I agree with you. Trust issues. I get lonely too. Oh my God. There's so, half, if not most of the songs on the compilation are just emotional.
And you realize too that listening to some of this stuff as an older person, you realize you wanted to be able to relate to it back then, but you really couldn't. And
now
you realize that. Yeah, now you really realize it now, and you're like, "Oh God, I'm hurt."
Yeah. Now I'm
hurt.
Oh, this hit home.
You recall a situation. You're like, man,
yeah, that's been happening to me a lot with Take Care is my favorite album by him.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's one of his best albums.
Oh yeah.
Take Care is one of those albums I'll listen to, like, because even for me, there was a couple songs on there that was super emotional when I was in high school. So even listening to them now, it takes me back to high school, those memories. And then on top of stuff now, I'm just like, dang, pimps don't cry, we just shed a tear. But nah, it's just Drake and his team being marketing geniuses. Like,
it really is.
This was basically with all. There's so many hot projects that have dropped so far this summer between Dreamville's Revenge 3, Chance dropped his album last week, YBN Cordae, who many people don't know, but he, to me, has dropped the album of the summer so far, and a contender for best rap album, I think, because I love his album a lot. He dropped the Lost Boy last week also, and his album honestly outdid Chance's. And there's also there's a lot of people talked about this. I know Manny and Kyle talked about it on their podcast. Mm-hmm. This ain't his debut album. Let's just get that out the way. He might try to act like this is debut album, but 3 was really his debut album. Like that's it. Just keep it as that. And to me, because he claimed that was a mixtape and all, but to me, if like you're going to the production value of it, the way you had it mapped out, and then also you releasing it on streaming services and all that. Like, I get it, you release it on SoundCloud also, but no, like, just with how streaming services is now.
Album.
Yeah. The art of the mixtape is dead. Like, it really is.
Yeah.
If you drop something on
a
streaming service.
Yeah. If you went into the studio and recorded something, I got bad news.
Yeah. The mixtape days are dead, have been dead for a while. The last great mixtape ever was Lil Wayne's No Ceilings. That is the greatest mixtape of all time. I will fight anybody on that. That is the greatest mixtape of all time. That is peak Lil Wayne. That is peak rap. That's peak hip hop. And because one of the key things with mixtapes was just the idea of like being able to mess with other people's like Lil Wayne crafted it, because on all his mixtapes he would use other people's beats and body them. Body them. That became like the epitome of mixtapes and how mixtapes kind of came to form during like those mid 2000s, late 2000 era, when Lil Wayne and so many others were killing the mixtape game. But Drake is so smart. Like, as soon as I saw that, I laughed at it, because I was like, this is him showing off. And I was reading, like, last night, I was reading a bunch of tweets people were tweeting about it and stuff, and they're just like, I hate you. Like, only you can like pick up scraps of songs you dropped over the past few years that didn't make the cut to be on an album, put them together on an album, and it be fire.
Sell them.
And have everyone hype for it.
And sell them.
Like, if you're a Drake fan, you've heard these songs before. You've heard these songs. But as soon as we saw that, we all got hyped like it was the first time ever. I was listening to Trust Issues like it was the first time I had heard it before, knowing word to word every part. And I was singing, I was like, dang, man. Yeah.
And somehow it still manages to feel new.
It does, yeah. And that's just one of those things, like, I consistently keep talking about this because it just amazes me trying to figure out when this dude's run is going to end at being at the top of the game. And, like, it's not. It's not in the foreseeable future. He's got his grasp on the game. He's doing a lot of stuff right now, like other stuff he's focusing on. I know he's got the show on HBO, Euphoria, which I've heard a lot of good stuff of that. I'm pretty sure the first season of it has just ended or something along that lines. But I've been hearing a lot of really good stuff about that show. I need to find someone with the HBO connection. Yo, whoever got HBO, hook
Seriously,
your boy up.
Bro, I got stuff to watch coming up.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff on there I'm trying to watch. I got Showtime and Spotify. We could go swap for swap. Let's go. Let's get negotiations.
Oh yeah, go ahead and swap out Showtime.
Slide
Showtime
in the DMs. Slide in the DMs
right now.
at Thundercat Felix. Yeah, Showtime's got some shows actually.
Well, what's on it right now?
Showtime has this one show or this series I just went through. It's called Kidding with Jim Carrey, and it is
brilliant.
Jim
Carrey's joint is on there.
It's freaking brilliant. So it's basically Jim Carrey is basically Mr. What's his name from It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood?
Mr. Rogers.
Yeah. Jim Carrey is basically like this Mr. Rogers character where he's this like TV show legend that does it's like exactly the same premises as Mr. Rogers, like what he does as far as shows with puppets and so it's like a mixture of Mr. Rogers and Sesame Street with Jim Carrey being the face of it, his character being the face of it, and so as we find out in the show, I don't want to ruin it, but I'm
trying to figure out what it is without ruining it for myself too.
Yeah, a big thing happens that affects Jim Carrey's character, Jeff Pickles. That's his name.
Yeah.
So here's like the quick premises off IMDb or whatever. Kidding follows Jeff Pickles, a man who's iconic in children's television. Jeff, aka Mr. Pickles, is a pillar of kindness and wisdom to the impressionable minds of America's youth and to the parents who grew up with him. When Mr. Pickles' family begins to implode, his life starts to take a downward spiral. He must put the fables and puppets aside to get through this newest crisis in life. As the slow leak of sanity advances faster than he can cope with, the cruel world breaks his heart. This is like one of the most brilliant shows written I've watched. It's one of those where it's like it's a comedy, but it also has that dark humor.
Oh yeah, it's Jim Carrey,
and it's Jim Carrey. So like there's so much time where you're just like you're watching, and then something happens, and you're like, oh my god, like this is. It was so good. I'm probably gonna go back and watch it through again because there was just so much. I think it was like 10 episodes, and each episode is like about 25-30 minutes long, so it's not like one of those 1 hour, but it's such a smart show, a really good show. Jim Carrey does a phenomenal job in it, and that was one of those I heard a lot of good stuff about, and people were just saying check it out, and I checked it out, and it's really good. I'm excited for the second season of it to come out. I think they were talking about it potentially coming out later this year or something. So Kidding, really good show.
So that's on Showtime.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So just a heads up, we're going to be all over the place in this podcast. We were just talking about Drake and then jumped into Showtime and all. But I did want to get into some shows anyway. Right now we're watching and all. Another one I just finished up is Last Chance U. And this, like, because each season of Last Chance U has been emotional and so good. This one's been super emotional on the sense that, like, it's different from the other seasons because the other, I don't want to spoil it for the people who watch it, and you probably watch it also. There's like a different element to it in this season.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things where things aren't going great. And so you start to see like that other side of like when things aren't going great, how it just kind of from the way up, from the top down, everything starts spiraling out of control. And like, it's just wild. And it's such a good look at, essentially what is professional football, even though it's junior college, not even college football, JUCO. Like, it's still professional football. And just looking at football overall, like having watched Last Chance U the past, like all 4 seasons of it, 4 or 5 seasons, like when I have my kid ain't playing football. My kid is not playing football.
Yeah.
Like,
that's how watching it makes me feel.
Yeah. It's one of those where it's just like,
and I love watching it.
Oh yeah. Enjoy watching it. I mean, football season is officially back. Hall of Fame game was yesterday. That's like the kickoff of the football season.
Yep.
And so, love football, everything, but it's just like, it's one of those, it's like, it's like when you were younger and you're watching TV and it hits 11 p.m. and like you're watching Adult Swim comes on, and you ain't supposed to be watching Adult Swim, but you actually enjoy watching it. It's one of those like dirty pleasures where like you're watching Adult Swim, whatever show it may be on, and you're like watching it, hoping your parents don't come down, catch you and stuff like that. That's kind of how it feels with football, where football's like, we all enjoy this, but we all know in the back of our head, like, this is a pretty this is a pretty grimy,
now
dangerous
that I know
sport.
what I know about it. Yeah.
And I feel that about that a lot with a lot of stuff, like MMA, like boxing. There was a couple weeks ago where a dude died after a boxing match. Like, that was crazy, and that was like in the news feed for a couple days, and then it's just gone. Like, and it was one of those in the moment of things where people, there's a problem with boxing, blah blah blah, but we just kept it moving.
Yeah.
And it's one of those tough things where it's like, yeah, it's not like every match there's someone dying from it and all, but it's like one of those, if like that dude just died as a result of that.
Yeah.
Maybe we should be taking a closer look at that sport.
Well, it's crazy. You talk about the NFL, the game. You know what I feel like that about, and I feel like that about everything around the game. If you watch commercials, you watch the sidelines, watch advertisements, and it's more of like a political thing. But I tell people all the time, like, if you want to know why the conversations around the NFL go the way they go, whether it be about politics, whether it be about player safety, watch the commercials around an NFL game. You'll know exactly who and the NFL caters to and who their audience is. Like, they're not dumb. They know who their audience is. And that's where I like, not so much a guilty pleasure type thing, but much more of like when the game's not actually on. Like, I hate everything. No, I won't say hate. I'm bothered by the vast majority of all the things surrounding the NFL. Like, when the game's not on,
yeah,
I'm watching everything. I'm going, okay, can we just skip past?
Well, like
all of this.
Well, like with yesterday's Hall of Fame game, Ed Reed had like the biggest newsworthy story coming out of that Hall of Fame game, and he didn't even play in it. He was one of the Hall of Fames being inducted, but he wore a shirt with all of the pictures of black people that had gotten killed by police violence in the past few years. And like at one point halfway through the game, they were interviewing him, and I heard Dan Le Batard talking about this earlier, where like the camera and NBC went the extra length making sure they weren't getting the shirt in the shot. They were like zoomed up, just got like a headshot of him and stuff. And it's all these little things. And, of course, people are on Twitter, like, we're bashing Ed Reed, and it's all like, oh, you want to make a statement about it? Actually, why don't you go ahead and speak about it instead of wearing a shirt about it? But, like, as Dan was saying on his radio show earlier, he was like, that logic is stupid as hell because you guys are always moving the goalpost. Like, okay, he goes ahead.
Always.
He goes ahead and talks about it. Now you guys are saying, oh, don't talk about it, show up that another way. He showed it on the shirt. Oh, don't show it on your shirt. Go talk about it. It's one of those just like
has been ticking me off the last couple of days with Kaepernick.
Yeah.
Because everybody's thing was do it on your own time, do it in your own space, don't do it here. And so when he goes into his own space and puts the work in, people were like, oh, you notice we haven't seen Colin Kaepernick since that Nike check. And I'm like, he's working. I'm like, he's traveling. He's working. Like, weren't you just talking about how you didn't want to see this dude anymore? Like, and now we're over here talking about, you notice he disappeared once he got his Nike check. So it is. The goalposts keep moving, and again, and it's sad. Like, it's really, truly very sad that sports, guys, it will expose people for who they are. It's mind blowing to me when you talk about sports. Yeah, people reveal who they really are if you talk to them about whatever sport they do watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I noticed that about Ed Reed. I thought that was pretty dope. But yes, I noticed the concerted effort to control the narrative, which is I shouldn't be surprised by it anymore. But it's off-putting. It's
wild. It's super wild. But yeah, and that's one of those things I've noticed with myself. I get less and less excited for football every season. It's like even every season comes on, and a lot of it is just the off the field stuff. Like, I'm a Patriots fan, so the past 10 years or whatever has been phenomenal for me. So you would think I'd be all like, I went down to Atlanta for the Super Bowl. That was all fun and all. But even then, like, when I was standing, like, I talked about it when I went, but like, they had two different pep rallies for the LA Rams fans and for the Patriot fans, and I went to both pep rallies, and like, I was with the Boston one celebrating that, and that one just made me feel uncomfortable because it was just weird. I was just like, a whole lot of white people here that look like
Boston, man.
Yeah. I was just like, yeah. And then like I went to the LA one, and the LA, and I was just like, yo, y'all my people. Like, I know I'm wearing this jersey of this other team and all, but y'all my people.
Right.
Like, I grew up there and everything, but it was great because it was just like, had like Hispanics next to me, a couple white people, a couple black people. It was just like, you got the whole cultural like melting pot there with that fan base, which was nice. But yeah, like, each season gets less and less excited for NFL. And more like love NBA. And it's just because of what NBA does. Like, NBA has paved the way for modern sports, like, just as far as endorsing their players, standing behind their players, making their players front facing. Their players represent their league. Like, the NBA has become a 365 day
all
year-round league.
All year. They've adjusted the calendar near perfectly.
Yeah.
Because we got the draft, we got Summer League, and then very shortly, like, we get a very short break because Summer League ended maybe like 4 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. And then literally it's like training camp starts.
Yeah.
Here in a couple weeks.
And even in this downtime, you got all this talk, like, there's a lot of stuff going on with LeBron, all that stuff he's been getting crap for. Yep. Where, like, I'm not a LeBron fan. Everyone knows that and all. But this is one of those things where, like, all right, like, okay, is he doing the most with some of the AAU stuff? Yeah, maybe. But at the same time, like, at the end of the day, it matters how the players see it. Like, forget what you do it and stuff. And so when all that stuff was listening, like, going out there, people like bashing him for all his antics and stuff, like dunking in the pregame and all. And I can see your side of that story where it's like other dads can't do that, blah blah and stuff like that. And it's like, at the same time, other dads aren't LeBron, and like, yo, that's whatever. But like, they started doing that, and all the players on his son's AAU team came out and were like, yo, like, this is LeBron James. He's coming out celebrating with us and stuff like that. Like, that's cool as hell. Like, we totally love it and stuff like that. One kid's like, my dad's not able to come to my AAU games, and so having LeBron there, he's not just supporting his son, he's supporting the whole team, celebrating with the whole team, stuff like that. That's one of those things with, like, a father figure in black male, like, community and African American community. It has all this negative connotations and all this stuff that comes about it with deadbeat dads, this and that. And so, like, a lot of these players, like, deal with stuff at home and might not have that father figure at home. And so LeBron's here, like, whether you like him or not. I'm not a fan of the dude, but you can't hate on him on that stuff. Everything I hate on LeBron about is all, like, on the court stuff, like, as far as like his influence with the front office, all that. It's all basketball related that goes deeper and rooted and stuff like that. But off the court, he's one of the best athletes. Stand up.
Oh yeah.
And, like,
what have we heard about LeBron getting in the way or getting in trouble? We've never heard that before.
Never heard of that.
It was crazy because he actually got media reinforcements from an unexpected source. I think it was sometime in the last few days. But Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless was talking about how he's like, look, my dad was abusive, was an abusive creep.
Yeah.
And he didn't come to a single one of my games.
Yeah.
He's like, and I would always choose, like, you talk about LeBron. He's like, I've heard people talking about LeVar Ball too, where they almost loved their son to a fault. But much rather have that than the alternative. And one tweet that I saw basically was like, I'm not even gonna get involved in this conversation because this was worded perfectly. Yeah. And somebody said, you can tell the people on here who never had friends who didn't have dads around. Mm-hmm. You can tell the people on here who didn't have those friends. And I was like, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And also, like, let's just go ahead. Like, why are we giving Jason Whitlock that clout with his fake ass hair that he just went to Walmart and buy? You ain't faking anyone, Whitlock. I seen that. When I seen that video, the only thing, I didn't listen to it at all. The only thing that stood out to me was like, oh, this man went and got hair plugs. Bro, he got hair plugs. And it looks horrible.
I wasn't as LeBron gave brothers courage because it was LeBron and my man Chris Broussard showed up with hair.
Yep.
My man Chris Broussard.
And they both clowns. Yeah. They both clowns. That's why they both have with FS1 now.
So the best part too is I don't even think Broussard messes around with Whitlock anymore. Like it's getting that bad at this point. Yeah. Like it's so bad. Skip won't deal with him. Apparently, Colin Cowherd won't even like do his stuff anymore. I'm like, bruh. People know, like, you've exposed
and that's
yourself,
the funny thing
bro.
Where it's like, yeah, nobody will mess with them, but FS1 won't keep them on.
Yeah, because
FS1, I mean, a Fox product, like, they thrive in that stuff. They thrive in they're the epitome. Yeah, no news is bad, like whatever that saying is. And
that's why what's crazy is They do have a spectrum because that was one of the reasons why Skip and Colin Cowherd made that switch. Anyway, those are both former ESPN employees, and Fox Sports Network was trying to bolster its we want these super strong personalities in ESPN. They're basically ESPN rejects, or they're at ESPN.
ESPN
so we'll take them. So when you've gotten to the place now where people at FS1 won't mess with you, and you're getting roasted on Twitter by other black people. And saying, "Oh yeah, my man's up to no good again."
Joke,
tap dancing for I was like, "Oh my!" Some of them hurt my feelings, and I was like, because I think probably in the past year, 2 or 3 times, people it's like hit Twitter where it's like, "Yo, this dude's a clown," whatever. This one was rough. This one was like, I was like, bro, like literally, the first 4 or 5 things that I saw had nothing to do. Nobody repeated or reposted what he said. It was all like, if I see this dude in the street, I will fight him. Like that was all. Like the first 4 or 5. I was scrolling I was doing this Discover. Yeah. I'm like, bro, is somebody gonna repost what he said? Because that's what I.
Yeah, you just saw the people coming at his neck.
All fighting. And I was like, bro, what did this dude say? And I watched it and I was like, oh my gosh.
And honestly, it's one of those things where we just need to get to the point where, we just need to start blocking these dudes on social media.
Stop quote tweeting their accounts.
Because, the person, the one main person I've done that with is Tommy Lauren, whatever her name is. I, a while ago, just blocked her because she's the main person that thrives with the... no news is bad news, and she's spewing out ridiculous stuff that
baseless
stuff that she doesn't even believe. And there's the other Laura Ingraham, I think she's another one of those Fox News. Yeah.
Goodbye.
She's another one of those that's admitted. She's admitted. She's like, yo, I don't believe most of the stuff I'm saying, but I know it's gonna get people riled up, get people going. And Fox, that's all Fox thrives for, because that's getting viewers. You're provocative, you're edgy, stuff like that. Yeah, they thrive for those people. And if you're gonna push their base, even if you may not believe in it, as long as you're pushing their agenda, you're on their A team, and they're gonna keep giving you the clout. And we're essentially giving them the clout by responding to it. So I've just started, I'll even see people I see tweets that are hella reckless that I'm like, I'm probably never gonna see another tweet from you, never interact for you, but I'm gonna just go ahead and block you anyway, just keep you out of my
right,
like,
right.
And so I've just started doing that. I've just started block. Like I see someone hella reckless with something, yeah, just block that. I don't need that in my life because I know I'm tempted to like quote tweet it and like bash them, but it's like nah, like I gotta take a step back because like you want me to do that.
Don't feed their brand.
Yeah, you want that.
Yes,
you want me to feed that, and that's what we gotta start doing.
Junk food is still food. There's no such thing as a bad repost. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently with Jason Whitlock, it's fade on site. Twitter's got the fade on site call out on Jason Whitlock. So Jason Whitlock, good luck, fam. I do hope that you gain some perspective. I really do, because once again, as somebody who had a very present father and who grew up in a place where that was a luxury. That was a luxury.
Yeah.
I grew up understanding what that was like, and when I see somebody, God, dude, like I got kind of hyped. Dude dunks it, makes a great play. LeBron comes from the baseline,
celebrate with him.
Like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I played AAU, and my dad was at those games. But I can't tell you, I was on teams. I played against teams. Like, you wonder where their dads are, and it's just their mom up there with all other little siblings.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just like they wish they could have that. So I hope you gain some perspective. So tell me, since we're on the LeBron joint, because it's been busy. This past week has been really, really busy. Did you get to see the David Griffin interview?
I didn't get to see it. I just heard about it.
Yeah.
And I know he hopped on The Jump today to try to clarify some things. But, like, because I know one of his main things was, like, he was just so done with LeBron's antics with Cleveland. And, like, he said to the point where, like, even after they had won, he knew he didn't want to come back, and despite the money and all. But I will call BS on that, because I remember when they fired him or let him, or I don't think they fired him. I think they didn't bring him back.
Yeah,
they didn't sign him back.
Yeah, he was in a contract dispute with Gilbert, and Gilbert wasn't trying to deal with it. So David Griffin figured it wasn't worth the trouble. He said, if I'm not going to get paid what I want to get paid, it's not worth all the trouble. Goodbye. Yeah,
so that's the one where I call BS on, I didn't even want to come back and stuff. Because it was very clear, like, you wanted to, but it was just you wanted to get paid more and stuff like that. And, like, the first person after that came out vouching for him was LeBron.
That's correct.
I remember LeBron was pissed off.
He was just like,
he was heated. Legit. He was beyond heated. Legit. And so that's why, because LeBron went on Twitter and Instagram yesterday, basically was like, all right, like, okay, I'm tired of y'all. He was basically like, okay, no more Mr. Nice Guy. And it was especially after this David Griffin thing. And I think this one, because there's been a lot of stuff he's been receiving heat for the past few weeks, this whole off season, people just clowning him. Because essentially, in a way, we're seeing LeBron starting to become that old head. Because, like, the whole Taco Tuesday stuff he does, the little, like, antics, jokes, and all that, like, for most of these, like, younger dudes, I'm like, you kind of clowny and stuff like that. They see that and it's like, like
you're already there's already questions around whether other players want to play with you. Don't add corny to the mix. And I don't see him as corny per se, but that's how other guys.
That's how other people like are seeing it, and so he's been dealing with a lot of just like he's been in the media talks all summer long, and I think this was like the breaking point for him, and it all goes back to the fact that it was like, bro, I vouch for you. Like, I was so heated when you got fired. Yeah. Because I remember exactly when that happened. Like, he immediately went to Twitter and, like, it's one of those things because you always see athletes like, oh, no, they're so sad. But you could genuinely tell, like, LeBron was really upset with that decision they had made because David Griffin had did a phenomenal job bringing pieces around him and stuff. And, like, they were able to win that championship mainly because of David Griffin. Like, them getting A. Wiggins out of there, bringing
which
Love.
Looks better every day.
Every day. Like, you don't get that if Griffin's not there. I'm pretty sure it's him. I might, hopefully I'm not giving the credit to someone else. But nonetheless, like, I think after he saw that stuff with David Griffin, and I think that over anything really just felt like a backstabbing.
Yeah.
And that at that point, so I totally don't blame LeBron for kind of like all the other stuff is just one of those, him being the biggest athlete in the world, you just gotta block all that other stuff. But that one, when it feels like a backstab for someone that you publicly vouched for,
even if what you're saying is true,
yeah,
because the reality is, and Kevin Durant used the words toxic, and he had to clarify those words. And he's not talking about LeBron per se, but the culture surrounding
him.
it is toxic. And so even if what you're saying is true, and I guess he realized this between yesterday and today, the dude did have your back in a situation where, and I will always be a bump Dan Gilbert type dude. Like that, I will always be team David Griffin in the David Griffin Dan
Fully
Gilbert saga.
him.
Yeah, but you gotta understand, like you gotta see it from his perspective. Like I could easily see it feeling like a backstabbing type thing.
Yeah,
kind of like, even if you think that, like, why would you understand what that does to my brand if you say it on national television? Mm-hmm. Like it's one thing that we can have a relationship if I know that's something you think and you don't talk about it. But this man got on TV and talked about it, now all of a sudden, and he's still a GM too, because people were talking about how like, yo, LeBron and like Rich Paul, you can pretty much forget Rich Paul and anybody who's a clutch client.
Yeah,
working with the Pelicans.
No,
at any point, like, and there are a lot of clutch athletes in the NBA,
and it sucks because like so far, like David Griffin had been doing phenomenal, because it was like the relationship between the Lakers and Pelicans seemed like it was completely shattered.
Yeah,
but David Griffin came in and he was like, "Nah, listen, like all that stuff that happened a few months ago with." Who was their last GM? That bum, that trash of. I need to find this man. Good Lord. Buffer for me while I look up this man.
Yeah, now I don't know who it was, but I remember the back and forth that was going on between them and the Lakers was absolutely ridiculous. Between offer, denial, a request, the Lakers would rehash the offer, and then
Dell Demps.
Yeah, Dell Demps,
the worst.
Look, the definition of bad faith negotiations.
Yeah.
The definition.
You did all that stuff. Woo, you blocked the AD trade just to get fired.
Yeah, just to get fired.
And you cost, like...
Why? And why did you get fired?
The Pelicans were going to get the whole 9.
The entire, all of them. And why did you get fired? Because everybody... And... here's the part that disturbs me, because I was just about to say everybody but you knew you were getting a great package for him. The problem is you probably did know.
Yeah.
And you were just trying to be bitter. And petty.
You were just being hard-headed.
Yeah, and being petty.
Trying to be big guy, trying to be boss man. I know. I ain't getting bullied around by Magic Johnson, LeBron.
5 players and 4 picks?
Yeah.
Bro, I don't care I'm dead serious. I don't care who those players are. If you take a 15-man roster and you offer me 5 players, chances are I'm getting one really good one.
one really good one, and you really have like 2-3 picks.
Yeah.
Plus,
for a guy you're not going to get back.
Even if you're not going to keep all that, it's like, all right, these 3 players are going to be great for us. We're going to package this player with a pick, and we're going to get a phenomenal player.
And they got 3 good players.
Yeah.
Not just one. They got 3 good players.
Lonzo Ball is about to ball out this season. I want people to know Lonzo Ball is going to ball out this season. Ingram
if he's healthy.
Ingram had some like serious health concerns towards the end of the season.
He had a great finish to the season.
Led to him having surgery and all that. Yeah. So if he can bounce back and that injury stuff, because I think he had some of that blood clot issue that essentially ended Chris Bosh's career.
And he was on a tear up until that point.
Yeah. So if it's nothing major, Ingram's gonna ball out. Josh Hart is phenomenal on defense. He's a great piece. Great complimentary piece. Comes off the bench.
Yeah,
and he's only gonna keep getting better. He can shoot. He just needs to get more consistent on it. So they got great pieces. They could have had that whole farm load, but Dell Demps wanted to be big bad boss. And so when they hired David Griffin and he came in, he immediately, one of his first things was like Lakers approached him about trading for AD. He dealt that, and like the trade became official, and they made it official. And when they interviewed him about it, he's all like, "Look, like it," and everyone was talking about it. It worked great for both teams, and a lot of people, Lakers gave up a lot, blah blah blah. It's like
we knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah, it's one of
We've
those.
known
It's
that
like,
for like 6 months.
it's essentially when you have LeBron James and you have him right now, like you're all in. You're all in right now, and so you got to do whatever it takes to try to win right now. But David Griffin went into it was just like all that other stuff in the like that happened the past few months. I wasn't here for it, so I'm not gonna let that affect my decision. We're just gonna negotiate 1-on-1, and it was great for both sides between David Griffin and also Rob Pelinka, and like the little blog I'm working on or whatever. It's just one of those things where I think like I'm kind of essentially writing about Rob Pelinka needs to finally start getting his credit, like for making the best out of the crappy situation he got tossed with, especially after Magic throwing that dumpster fire on him and all that other stuff that happened. And so he needs all the credit for how he handled that and how he was like he just needed to pull off the AD trade, and then all that stuff with the Kawhi stuff, like that was a lose-lose situation for the Lakers in a way, because they were gonna get crap if they didn't go all in for him.
Yeah.
And if they didn't get him, they were gonna get crap, which will happen. And it's one of those things I gave Kawhi a lot of credit for like playing the Lakers and stuff like that, but at the same time, one, it just shows more of a character of who Kawhi was, and also like if Clippers had not been able to pull off that trade for PG, like he would 100% came to the Lakers. He would 100% came to the Lakers. So I think Rob Pelinka deserves to get his credit, and I'm kind of trying to write a little about that because of all the stuff he received. But yeah, David Griffin had been on the good grace of NBA, Lakers fan, LeBron, all that, and then this recent stuff coming out is just like, dude, wow, all right. I could totally understand how LeBron feels hurt by it, and that was kind of the last straw for him, and he was all like, all right, no, like, it's a wrap for y'all. Right. And it's going to be interesting. Like, I don't know if he's just going 0 dark 30 or just like what he's going to do, but it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, because you could tell he's genuinely pissed off.
Well, and I can't say it's not warranted. The only thing that will annoy me is that if it's in classic LeBron fashion, it will be, none of it will officially be LeBron. It will all be under the table. It'll all be behind the scenes, and it'll all be super, like even the tweet itself was super passive in the sense of like, by the timing, we could guess that it was probably David Griffin's interview that set it off. But we don't know because he didn't tag anybody or didn't say anything specific to anyone. So that will be the only thing that bothers me, because I'll just be like, look, I'm ready for the NBA. Can we not have this clutch sports politics and like this Cold War stuff going on during the NBA season? That part will drive me nuts.
So David Griffin went on the jump today, like I mentioned earlier, and he was trying to clarify some of this stuff. So this will help his case a little, but he was saying, it was my inability to deal with the media scrutiny. It wasn't the man himself. It was everything that came with a team led by LeBron James. They had nothing to do with being miserable with LeBron. We had and have a very positive relationship. So, and that's like what me and you have both talked about. Right. When it comes, that's our issue. That's our personal issue with LeBron. It's everything that comes around with him.
It's really his fans.
Yeah, that too.
And worse, his fans in the national media. Yeah. Because LeBron wins. Weird.
He's the true like leader and everything. LeBron loses, weird, he has no supporting cast and stuff like that. So like reading that helps clarify it and all, but it's still going to be interesting to see how LeBron like handles that, deals that. We're gonna keep it moving because it's just going all over the place.
I know, man.
Real quick, I wanted. Just one thing keeps happening. I don't know why it keeps happening, but every time I open up my Google app on my phone, this is basically my web browser that I use. Like every time I come up, like open it up, the first because you know how like shows feature stories, scores, different stuff. The first story they always feature for me, it's always a cruise related story, and it's always like some tragedy that happened. Like kid gets left behind, somebody falls overboard, like ship is like over. I'm like, Bro, what y'all like?
First off, you're not gonna stop me.
Yeah,
I don't know who's trying to stop me from getting on the boat.
I got a cruise coming in January. I'm going.
You're not gonna.
It's gonna take a lot more to stop me from going on a cruise. Second of all, I don't need all this positive or negative energy around me. I got a lot going on already. Y'all don't like. I'm just trying to see where the nearest Chinese restaurant is, but no, you just want to let me know about this little boy that drowned in the ship pool. All right, that ain't my fault. That ain't my kid.
Yo, I'm about to change direction again. Speaking of pool,
what?
Did you see the video of the malfunctioning wave pool?
Oh my god, bro! People died. That junk was wild.
The best part is you know it's bad early because you can see that jump far off and you're like, yo, there are people on top of that.
People on top of it. You saw a wave form with humans and boogie boards.
Bro, it wasn't even water. It was just bodies.
And that's for me. I want to be on top of that wave. Because I'm crashing down on somebody.
Because the people
I'd rather crash down on somebody.
The people underneath.
Yes, the people underneath. And you could see so many people were clueless.
It's not sand, it's concrete.
Like, there were hundreds of people in that wave pool.
Oh my
hundreds.
God.
And that's the other thing. It's not like it's deep. So someone's coming 5 feet crashing on you. Yeah, you hitting the concrete.
Somebody trying to ruin my vacation. Because I don't get to go on vacation this year. So I'm already ticked off. I got vacation 2020.
Bro, I'm
never trying to mess with my vacation.
No, I'm never doing a water park again after seeing that.
Nah.
And then also all the stuff I've been hearing about the brain eating enigma.
You saw that too?
Yeah.
Nope. I'm telling you, somebody trying to ruin our vacation.
Nope. That's a no for me,
Somebody's
sir.
trying to ruin our vacation. Because look, I'm still going. There's going to be water where I go. Don't try to mess up my vacation. So what made me mad about the brain eating thing was the only other 2 or 3 times I've even heard of that, it was at lakes. So the part that bothered me was that it was at a water park. I'm like, somebody talked to me about this.
That don't add up. Where y'all getting your water source from? Right. Something don't seem right. It seemed hella fishy.
Right.
Yeah. Next thing. So last week I went to go see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Right.
I personally am one of those Quentin Tarantino stans.
Yeah.
I love ever since Inglourious Bastards, I love every one of his projects. Because Inglourious Bastards was the first real project that I was like, oh, this made specifically by this guy. He also made this other movies. And so a couple years ago, I went through and watched all his films up until I think his last one was all his previous films, and then I seen obviously Inglourious Bastards, Django, and then Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
And so when I saw this one was coming out, I was super excited, and it's such a good movie. I personally,
I've heard it's really good.
There's people that are mixed emotion about it and stuff like that, and there's a lot of people that are analyzing it from the 2019. They're trying to not necessarily Me Too the movie. Because it doesn't have a lot of Me Too related stuff, but it's just that cancel culture where hey, you're this successful white man that's had success for this long and stuff like that. That we're gonna critique this in the sense of not just looking at it at the art form, but social issues and stuff like that. And because I was listening to a podcast that was reviewing the movie, and they were bringing up other stuff, and they were talking about but Quentin Tarantino hasn't been just empowering a lot of female movie filmmakers or stuff, trying to nitpick little stuff like that. But one of the people on the podcast was just we can't make artists social workers,
right?
And it was such a great point where it's because, and I think especially in the sense of Quentin Tarantino, because there's stuff that you can you want to criticize if in his movies, in the past movies Hateful Eight or Django and stuff, the use of the N-word and stuff like that, you can question all that little stuff that, but as far as he's the issue with it's dude, you can't hate on him for being great because this is his 9th movie, so he's solidified himself. So now just because our current culture is a cancel culture, you can't be coming at his neck being mad at him because of like all the, just because that's how society wants to act right now. Just be mad at everything. It's one of those. It's like, he's an artist. He has his ways of making his movies and all like that. And the problem is not with him. The problem is with the industry.
That's
like,
right.
He's earned that reputation to go and do whatever movie he wants. What we need is having other people that are in that same role being able to do whatever it is that they want.
Wow.
Because like when we look like at Coogler, Ryan Coogler, like he's earned that. And so that's awesome for black people, because it's like Ryan Coogler is one of those people that like now, because I was gonna get into this also, like the list of people that like, if you know, like whatever project they made or they're in, like you're 100% like, I'm gonna go see it. I don't need to watch a trailer or whatever I hear. Like for me, those people are Quentin Tarantino, Ryan Coogler, and then also now is Daniel Kaluuya. Yeah, I don't know. Have you seen the trailer for Queen and Slim?
Yeah. Bro,
that movie looks.
I can't remember if I sent you that or not.
Dope.
I saw it
maybe like in the theater.
So I saw it a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And I like chills, bro. I was like, yo, this could be special.
Yeah.
This could be
for me,
like,
and for me with
special.
him, it was because the first thing I ever seen him in was Get Out.
Yeah.
Get Out was the first thing, and then also seeing him after watching him in that Black Mirror episode. Okay. I was just like, I'm seeing whatever he's in, because he's such a phenomenal actor. He's such a phenomenal actor, like just the way he conveys himself, and like he's one of those. Like you see the emotion, even though he doesn't show that much emotion and stuff like that, and he's got such a wide range.
Yeah. So
like between him, Tarantino, and Ryan Coogler are one of like the three people for me right now that I'm like, any project you release, anything you're in, like I'm watching it. I'm going to the theater.
You know who's about to be that person for me?
Another outside in is Christopher Nolan also.
Oh yeah.
Christopher Nolan's there also at that point.
Actor who's starting to be that guy for me is John David Washington.
So yeah.
So you know what he's in next?
What?
You know he's the star in Chris Nolan's next movie, right?
Oh yeah.
So
I remember.
I remember hearing about Chris that. Nolan snuck in the teaser into, of all movies, Hobbs and Shaw. So people have been going and seeing Hobbs and Shaw, and all of a sudden the freaking the teaser for Tenet starts playing, and people have been like, "What?"
In the middle of the movie?
Not in the middle of the movie, but like during the previous. And they're like, bro, you just announced the cast for this. How the heck did you get it?
It seemed like earlier this week.
Yeah, John David Washington is the guy for that movie, but he's becoming ever since Black Klansman, he's becoming
John David Washington. Buddy from Atlanta. I'm upset. I'm forgetting his name.
I still need to watch Snowfall, bro. Atlanta and Snowfall both need
I've heard good
watched.
stuff about Snowfall.
Yeah,
but Alfred Miles, who played... Oh, no. That's his Atlanta character. But Brian Tyree Henry.
Oh, yeah.
Brian Tyree Henry. He's one of those that's quickly coming on that list for me, because I really like all the stuff he does. But... yeah, it's just one of those... I think it's such a... like, we're expecting so much from our artists that like you like it, and this all stems back to like what we've talked about with like Kanye West. It's like we can't be going to Kanye West for political, like we can't be holding Kanye West to this high standard, this high platform, expecting all this great stuff from him,
right?
Because it's like when we start expecting these things from those people, it's like that's when it starts backfiring, and that's when like you start getting his ridiculous, like slavery was a choice. That's when you start, hey, you asked him for his opinion and he gave you his opinion, and now we're mad at him. It's just like
right.
Like dude's a musician, he's one of the greatest producers ever. Why are y'all trying to make him this motivational speaker and stuff like that? And that's one of those things. It's like it's a difference if like that person takes it upon himself to become that.
Yeah. Minus
that person, us forcing that person to become that thing for us, because there's a different, like like J. Cole. J. Cole, we've slowly seen him make that transition into, becoming a very social conscious person and just really speaking about what's going on and doing that. And it's been super cool to see that. And no one's like bashed him or had any fuss with him because we've seen that him make that transition naturally. It's not one of those we forced upon him. It was one of those things he noticed what was going on.
He came back home.
Yeah, came back home, noticed what was going on. He was like, I saw myself getting caught with the industry, getting caught with the fame, the jewelry, all that stuff. Like he's like, nah, and he went down low key for just went back to his roots, came back out of nowhere. Homie had dreads, and like his whole vibe changed, and the way he his outlook on different things, and became very more public about like just social issues and stuff like that, and that's been super cool to see. And so it's one of those things where it's like a very fine line we're playing, where like we're trying to force so many people. Like there was a couple of years back when they were getting on Tom Brady about like, oh, like why aren't you speaking against Tom Brady or against Donald Trump and stuff like that, blah blah blah. It's like, he's a white male athlete, greatest of the sport. Like, that stuff doesn't affect them as much as... And I understand you might want him to speak up and all that and stuff, but, like, he's not a dude we need on our side.
Why are we expecting these cats to know what to say?
Yeah.
And I know the answer to that question, but it's not... But because of the answer to that question, it's not as simple. To know how to answer those types of questions, you have to be in constant dialogue with the people who go through the stuff that the subject matter is about.
Yeah.
So, yes, ideally, yes, Tom Brady would be asking folks, hey, give me your perspective. But again, like, is that the expectation that we have on our athletes, on musicians, and stuff? Yeah, ideally, we would want them to do that, and that's what makes them role models for specific things.
Yeah.
But I've never understood... And I think, again, you go back to like the way people will reveal themselves when you talk about sports, is you find out what people care about when the issue of role model and the issue of, is this person, especially when they talked about like Tom Brady or J.J. Watt.
Yeah.
One of the dudes that, and he's few and far between. And we know this because we don't know, like, I couldn't name another white professional athlete that is as far as vocally active as is it Chris Long?
Chris Long, yeah. He just retired.
So Chris Long, like you can't like name another one. They're rare.
Yeah, they're rare. And Chris Long was a difference because Chris Long, he naturally felt the need to speak out about this stuff and all, and he's been great at it. He's been phenomenal at it because that just kind of is an issue that like he saw problematic, and a lot of these dudes I'm sure see problematic also. But not everyone's a public speaker. A lot of these athletes, these top athletes, they gotta live their life on such a fine line that like everything they say they gotta vet through PR people and stuff like that. And so they're getting advice from people is like, I understand you might want to speak about this, blah blah blah, but like, this isn't good for you, whatever, and stuff like that.
Right.
And so they have a lot of other stuff going on, but we can't just be looking to these dude, putting them on these high pedestals where it's like, you're great at your sport. Now, also be great at, advocating for, gun violence, blah, 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 and stuff like that. It's like, bro, Muhammad Ali was a phenomenal advocator for a lot of social issues, blah, blah, blah. Michael Jordan was not. And that's okay. Because Michael Jordan, all he was about was hooping.
Yeah.
That's all he knew and stuff like that. Like, you can't... Michael Jordan deal with gambling, all that other stuff and all. Like, he wasn't the person we're going to go to like, hey, Jordan, like, what do you think about, KKK and all that? Like, it's just...
Yeah.
You
Ideally, yes. You would want somebody with a massive platform to be a role model.
Yeah. But not everyone can be a role model.
Yeah.
Not everyone. And we can't put too much pressure on these dudes and have all these high expectations for them, because when we do and we expect a lot for them, we get Kanye.
We get Kanye, or worse, we put unrealistic expectations on our kids, and we end up growing undue bitterness against the people who fall short of expectations we made up.
Yeah.
Once again, you look at some of the people that we should be looking up to, and they're some of the most hated people in sports.
Oh, yeah.
Because the expectations that we've had ingrained in our minds whether it be a mixture of racial bias, privilege or lack thereof, whatever it is, because these expectations we made up for athletes, we run the risk of transferring this stuff down to our kids, putting unrealistic expectations on them, and at the same time becoming bitter and hateful against the very people we should want our kids to look up to.
Exactly.
Which is just a weird and super sad thing that kind of happens when we do that.
Yeah.
But
it's just one of the many other problems with our culture right now. But we got to go ahead and get on out of here. I know you got to head to work. But kept it sweet and short for y'all this week. Solid. It was the first time we had an hour episode. All the other ones been long. But we'll be back next week with another good episode. Might try to have a guest on.
Hey.
Definitely want to have a guest on. Gonna talk through if you but want to continue to just grow this platform, have different guests on. Just want to go beyond just our friends and stuff like that. If you know someone, want to talk to some educators, some teachers, politicians, shoot, might even hit up a popo. We got our old friend that's a cop now. Might try to get him on. I don't know. That would be super cool. We could get him on just to talk, life, all that. So once again, it's the Culture Discourse Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at CDiscoursePod. And as I mentioned earlier, we're starting to work on getting a blogging site going through WordPress. So we want to, create another platform for us to be able to really just get to create. And because me and Lindell both are super into just media, like we enjoy doing this a lot, getting to be able to discuss sports, culture, topics, stuff like that. And speaking on this podcast is a great way to do it. But also, we both enjoy writing when we can, at least for me, when I can force myself to focus and do it. I enjoy writing and I want to get more into it. And so that's the main reason kind of led behind this blog post, or these blog posts that are going to be coming out. And so it's going to be through WordPress. Still building it out. We're gonna try to preload a couple posts.
Oh yeah.
I'm working on one. I know Lindell had mentioned he's got something going, so we're gonna get both of those going, edit them, and then post them on there, and we'll kind of go live with the site. Start promoting that on Twitter also. So once again, follow us on at CDiscoursePod, and if you want to be on the pod, got any questions or whatever, feel free to hit us up. But ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna head on out. Catch y'all next week.
Goodbye.
Stay safe out in these hard streets, so.